So we're back for another Rants and Review, and this time, ahead of the new season of Stranger Things coming out down the line, we thought we'd check out the Netflix Stranger Things game called Attack of the Mind Flayer. Let's open this up, let's see what comes inside, and talk a little bit more about it. So this is a deduction game similar to things like Werewolf or any type of kind of revolution-style game where you're trying to achieve separate missions from each other and trying to confuse your friends and make them think that you are not the villain. Nice. So you have giant token cards for the players. This game plays 4 to 10 players. And we have 11, Jonathan, Mike, Nancy, Lucas, Max, Steve, Will, Dustin, and Billy. Mind this is for Mind Flayer, so this Billy would be alive at this point, but this time he might not be the one that's being controlled. You never know. I really like this box. It's specifically designed for this game. It is cut out and pumped out, and it's also got Netflix Stranger Things kind of printed into the plastic. Really nice. Then we have a deck of cards right here. You have things like locations, Mind Flayer cards, hard hit cards, so bike being hit by a car, helping hand, health packs, memories on VHS, waffles, a lot of waffles. And then this is the manual that tells you how to play the game. Well, let's talk a little bit about how the game works. So the game is designed to be played anywhere between 4 to 10 players, and so the game is really modular to that effect. So depending on how many players you are, with a 4-player game, it's one possessed by the Mind Flayer character, and the rest are sane. And then that stays till about the 6-player games, you have 2 possessed, and then at 9 and 10 players, you have 3 possessed players. Throughout the game, people can become possessed. People can also be knocked out of the game. So the way the game works is you're going to take the card amounts for possessed players and sane players with waffles, and you are going to shuffle those all up. So this would be like for a 4-player game. And then you would randomly deal out the cards to players possessed. So I'm a possessed player. And then that becomes the first card to your hand. Keep track of the fact of whether you're possessed or not, because cards can lose your hand if you're possessed, but they can't lose Mind Flayers if you're not possessed. We'll go into that a little bit. Then on your turn, you take the remaining cards, which would be these here, and you're going to shuffle them all up into one pile. And you're going to then take that pile and you're going to deal 3 additional cards to other players on the team, everyone else on the board. So everyone's going to start the game with 4 cards in their hand. If you receive 3 hard hit cards at the beginning of the game, you just can discard the 3 hard hits and draw 3 new ones. If you get 3 possessed cards though at the beginning of the game in your hand, then congratulations, the Mind Flayer has possessed you at the very beginning of the game, and now you are on the possessed players team. Because the game is split between 2 players, so 2 teams I should say. So take that into consideration. So the menu of my hand is a helping hand, a Mind Flayer, and a waffle. And that is the entirety of my hand. This player does not have 3 hard hits, does not have 3 hard hits, and does not have 3 hard hits. Then you're going to shuffle up the location cards, and you're going to take 3 of them, put the remaining amount in the box, and you're going to do your best to equally separate the cards into 3 piles, and then place the cards between the cuts. The game is going to work where you go around a circle, performing actions, handing out cards, and it works like that in a pattern where you're going to hand them out, people can talk freely until you reach one of those cards. That's a meeting card, and then from there you'll resolve the meetings, and then you want to play until you get to the very last meeting card, and that ends the game. There's no reshuffling or redealing out this deck. So on your turn, you would draw a card from the top of the deck, and it's a hard hit. And as the person that drew it, I can give it to anyone else on the board but myself. So you can talk freely, say, hey, you have multiple hard hits. You don't want to have hard hits. I don't want to kill someone in the game this early on. And they go, well, I can take a hit. I can take one hit and say, okay, and you hand them the card, and then it adds to their hand. If they have 3 hard hit cards, that knocks them out, and then they're going to flip their player token over to show that they're knocked out. Then they don't get to interact with the game anymore, but they can still win, depending on certain things. And then it'll go to his turn. He'll draw a card, and it is the helping hand. The helping hand is like a medicine kit. For every helping hand card you have, it will remove a hard hit, provided you have not reached 3. So you maybe go like, oh, who has a hard hit who needs a helping hand card? And they go, oh, I need a helping hand card because I got a hard hit. You can't show your cards. You can just talk about them, though. There's, okay, here's a helping hand. And then that's going to basically negate that. As long as you have that in your hand, that hard hit card stays there, but doesn't count as being a hard hit. And then it'll be this player's turn, and they'll pull a card and go, okay, it's a waffle, and go to anybody. You want to make sure you're handing those over to people who are not controlled by the Mind Flayer, though, because those points are helpful for surviving players who are playing multiple games. You can use them as a score point, or they just basically hold over. So just hand them over to them. Then back to me, who's possessed. It's a waffle card. I'm going to hand that over to them. And then his turn, waffle card, he hands it to me. And then he gets a hard hit, and he goes, okay, well, don't give me a hard hit. I've already got 2. And then I go, well, I've got a lot of hard hits, too. And he goes, okay, well, I've got none to that helping hand card. So he goes, okay, and she hands it to him. And he's got 1 hit. Now he'll play hard hit, and I'll say, I've got a helping hand card. I can take it. He'll throw it at me. And then I'll pull a card. It's a Mind Flayer. Go, I have to give it to somebody. Hey, I'm going to give it to him. And he can say, I can't. So don't give it to me. I'm like, okay, well, I'll give it to you. Because I already got 2. Yeah, that sounds like a Mind Flayer would say. Or whatever, I believe him. I trust him. And then I will give it to him. Now he's got 2. Once he gets 3, he basically will be controlled by the Mind Flayer. He gets a card. It's another hard hit. Because I got to give it to somebody. I know you only got 1 already, so it's to him. Now he's at 2 hits. His gets a card. It's a Mind Flayer. And he goes, okay, I got a Mind Flayer. I'm going to give it to you or me. And he goes, well, I've got 1 Mind Flayer, so I could probably take another one without being affected. So I go, okay, here's your Mind Flayer. And he gets the card. It's a hard hit. And I go, I've got 1 hard hit. I can take another one. Okay, here's another one for you. Hard hit. I got to give it to somebody. I'll give it to you. And then there's, well, that's good because I got a helping hand, so that'll equal that out. And now we have the first event card. You flip it over, you read it. No one else can talk during this except for the player that flipped it. Secretly look at all the cards in one player's hands. So this gets resolved. He goes, okay, I'm going to get all your hand. And he sees, okay, 2 hard hits, 2 waffles, and 2 Mind Flayers. So he sees that secretly. Then it's his turn, hard hit. And he goes, I'm going to give it to you because you said you didn't have any, and it got canceled out. They get the card, hard hit. Can't give it to himself. It's got to give it to somebody. So somebody here might be going out because this is 3 with a kit. And that would be 2 with a kit. That's 2 without a kit. Now, I, as the Mind Flayer, am going to lie and say, look, you give that to me, I'm going to die. Okay, well, then I don't want to give it to you. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. One of us has to die. You have to make the choice. He maybe hands it out and says, like, oh, you got a lot of flares? I got 2. Do you have a lot of flares? And he goes, I've got 1. I got 2 flares, too. So they'll be like, okay, well, doesn't matter. I'll just give it to them. Because of this, he's got enough hard hits. He's knocked out. And now it's just these 3 3 players. Then it's his turn. He draws a card. It's another hard hit. Oh gosh, another hard hit. I'm going to give it to you because you only have the 1 hit. So now it's 2. So now everyone on deck basically has 2 hits, me not included because I'm lying. And so it's all about basically trying to get the players who are not Mind Flayer controlled to either become Mind Flayer controlled or get knocked out. So it's my turn, and I get a memories card. And now I know that he's really close to being converted, but I don't know what they have. So I'm going to give the memories card to them. And so they have the memory card, so that's going to negate one of the Mind Flayers. So they were at 2, so now they're at 1. Then she gets the card, it's Mind Flayer. And I say, hey, if you give me that Mind Flayer, I'm going to become corrupted. And they're going to say the exact same thing. And so at that point, it's going to basically be a situation of who I give it to. Well, I'm going to give it to you. I'm like, okay, but if you get corrupted, I'm corrupted because I'm a Mind Flayer character. Then it goes to him. He gets the card. He goes, well, you're already corrupted, so I'm going to give it to you. I'm like, damn it. So that my bluff failed me. So now it's my turn. And I get a Helping Hand kit. And I know he's got a lot of Mind Flayer cards, so I'm going to give him the Helping Hand so he can take another wound. But I want him to basically survive. Now she gets a Mind Flayer. And again, they're going to hand me the Mind Flayers because they think I'm already corrupted. And then he gets the card. It's a Mind Flayer. He makes the exact same thing. Now it's my turn. I'm going to hand her the Memories card again. She gets a card. She's going to keep handing it to me now. He gets the Helping Hand, and he hands it to her. And I get the hard hit. I'm going to use the hard hit on him. Now, there's a reason specifically why I want to use it on him, because I believe that he will take it out from it. So that's 1, 2, 3 hard hits, 4 hard hits, but he's also got 2 Helping Hands. So he is 1 hard hit away from getting KO'd and 1 Mind Flayer card away from being corrupted. So I'm very close with what I know about taking this character out. She gets her turn. It's Memories. She's going to hand it to him to help him. That's not helpful for me. He gets that card. He's going to give it to her. Then I get this card, and I get another hard hit. I'm playing it on him. So now, with 5 hard hits, 2 Helping Hands, he is also out, knocked unconscious. From that point here, this player and I are the only ones left in the game. What we are going to do now is, with 2 players left, the game ends, and you reveal who's corrupted or not. It's a fun way to do it. If you're corrupted, you growl, and if you're not corrupted, you're sane, you stand up and applaud. If there are any sane players in the game, the sane players win. If they're so technically the same player won, and up and down a little bit unhelpful. I didn't realize I forgot to. When you do the meeting, you are supposed to also trade cards. You put 2 cards down. You have 1 to the left, 1 to the right, and you can basically use that to affect and pass off corruption cards to make people controlled by the Mind Flayer. The one thing I will specifically say is that you cannot hand over corruption cards, the Mind Flayer cards, if you are not corrupted. You have to hold on to them. They stay with you, but you can if you are an agent of the Mind Flayer. So all in all, it's a pretty fun game. It's all about like deducing, trying to figure out what's going on, trying to trick your friends, read them, and get the results that you want. And it's about bluffing. You're definitely going to want to bluff hard to make sure that you can win the game and trick your friends into giving the cards that are helpful for you and bad for them. It's also a lot more fun if you do have a lot of players. So again, the goal is once you get down to the bottom of the deck, there's no more cards. Then you basically find out whether the heroes survive or the villains win, and so on and so forth. Well, hopefully you guys found this fun. You pick this up for yourself on your next game night, and we'll see you guys next week.